We have a very special guest on the show this week, Jonah Platt. He is an actor in Hollywood. He is a singer, musician, all-round very talented human being, and now also has his own podcast, which is really taking off in a big way. And in the middle of the war, he didn't have enough going on. He decided to come to Israel.
Where else would I rather be?
Jonah, really, you are a father. You have young children. We're in the middle of a war. We just got attacked by Iran. Why are you here?
Well, you know, the Iran attack already happened, so I figured this is a great window. I missed them. Israel hasn't responded yet, so like this is the time. But honestly, you know, I've been wanting to be here since October 7th, just to be with my people.
Yeah.
And the timing just didn't work out with my own personal life or whatever. And I knew the anniversary was coming up, and I was like, I can't let this whole year go by and not be here in this moment. So I made it my business to find a way to be here for this week, and here I am.
Well, God bless you. And your new podcast is called Being Jewish,
yes,
right? With Jonah Platt. Did you do this as almost like a flag in the sand because of what's going on in America now? What made you set up in the middle of the worst, I think, anti-Semitic wave in America, being Jewish?
Yeah. The sort of I have a couple of goals with this podcast, but one of the main ones has been sort of my mission as a Jewish advocate for a while. I started doing Jewish advocacy online really in spring of 2021, when there was that like Sheikh Jarrah, Al-Aqsa nonsense.
My part of town.
Yeah, your part of town.
Yeah.
And I that was when I first sort of identified that I could maybe help provide some framing, some contextualizing, some explanation to what was going on, because I could tell that people couldn't make sense of what they were reading and who was right and what was happening. And since my advocacy sort of started, one of my main things has always been to sort of celebrate the diversity of Jewish identity.
Yeah.
To really welcome everyone in, you know, I say you're as Jewish as you feel. And that's something that I really care a lot about.
Right.
And since the war, a lot of what my advocacy has been, you know, educational or reactive. And I wanted to get back to like my proactive mission, which, you know, I didn't want to let that slip away. And this podcast is my way of doing that, to going back to celebrating being Jewish and not just talking about who's coming to get us.
That's amazing, Jonah. But have you had any kind of pushback? Have you had any, you must have, we all get hate stuff. But in terms of your own career and what you do, has it affected you negatively coming out of the closet as an out and proud, you know, Israel advocate and Jewish advocate?
So, no, it hasn't blown back on me in any way that I know of. I mean, who knows what conversations I've had behind closed doors, but I honestly don't think any have happened.
Right.
And I think it goes to that adage of people respect those who respect themselves.
My motto.
Yep. And I really believe that. And so, you know, I'm very careful in sort of the way that I express my advocacy. I never try to be inflammatory or go after people. I try to really understand people and be nuanced and really thoughtful. And so I feel certainly no qualms or need to apologize for being who I am. So I feel sort of, I try to be, as I say, bulletproof in the things that I do. If someone's going to ding me for just like being a Jewish person, then that's their problem. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That doesn't affect me, and I'm not going to change what I'm doing because of a problem somebody else has.
And yet you see so many Jews who are kind of trying to keep their head down and say, ooh, you know, just like skip me. Well, what do you do with them? That's
been sort of our inherited way of surviving.
Coping, yeah.
You know, of coping is just keep your head down and hope they don't notice you and let you keep doing what you like to do. It's frustrating, honestly, at this point. It's like, if you got to this point and your head was down a little bit, okay. But like now, look at where we are. This is the moment. And like we often say, like, you know, as you're learning about the Holocaust, like, what would you do in these scenarios? And like, obviously this is not the Holocaust, but like the environment is somewhat similar to the precursor.
Yeah.
And we're seeing now what people would have done. And a lot of people would rather hope it passes and stay quiet and, oh, they're not going to come after me and I don't need to take a stand or whatever. And some people are, you know, standing up to meet the moment, whatever that looks like for them in their own lane. And I just, to me, it wasn't even a thought. I mean, there was no option. Of course I was going to, you know, meet this moment.
Well, that's because you're secure in who you are, apparently.
Right.
So, Jonah, you've had a lot of experiences this week. You visited a lot of different places.
Yeah.
One sticks out to you that you can share with us?
Yeah. I mean, I have seen and done so much in the 3 days that I've been here. I've been on an amazing trip. I would say for sure the thing that I'll keep with me the most was the couple hours I spent at the Nova site.
Yes.
Really impactful. I had been to the Nova exhibit in LA.
Right.
I've watched We Will Dance Again,
Yes.
which is just the most devastating but important movie that's out there. And then to be in the place, to see the faces of those who were, you know, so barbarically and inhumanely slaughtered there. I was so struck by how vivacious and full of life and how beautiful all those people were. Like the people, you can just tell from the pictures, like that's someone I wish I could be friends with.
You would have danced with.
I would have danced with. And so to be there in that space, and in a strange way, there was almost like a comfort to it, and there were still families and survivors there. And I got to hear so many stories from families and survivors themselves. And there's just like a closeness, you know, I hugged a few survivors who I'd known for a few minutes, and we're hugging, and it's my brother, actually. I mean, it's just, it was really a special bond that like didn't need any explanation.
Any conversation.
Nothing. We both know that it's there already. Yeah. The second we meet.
We're both hurting in the same way we're hurting. We're all hurting.
And we're all one family.
Exactly. That's the bottom line. Well, Jonah, brother, I'm so happy that you came to be with your family this week.
Too.
And please, God, we pray for better days, and we pray for a time, I don't know whether it'll happen, that really the world just loves the Jews, like Amy Schumer says.
One day.
One day. Thank you, Jonah.
Of course.